Tessa Capon was 15 when her father, Andrew, disappeared. He kissed her goodbye at a bus stop, told her that he loved her, and she never saw him again. Tessa is now 40 and has spent her entire life looking for answers. But it wasn't just her life that was shattered when Andrew vanished. Here's her story.
My nan always used to say that I was my dad's favourite because I was firstborn. I did go everywhere with him. We did a lot together. He was always outside playing football or fishing or on holidays. I haven't been able to move on with my life. It's like I'm still stuck back there being 15. It still feels the same, it still hurts the same. Obviously every morning you wake up thinking today is going to be the day, and it never is. 2 weeks after my dad went missing, my nan actually found my granddad passed away in the living room. So obviously she lost her son and her husband in the space of 2 weeks. My nan's tried to stay strong over the years for us kids, but then she passed away 5 years ago. And my nan was my world, the last piece of my dad. So it's like not being able to give her the answers. Well, it really hurts. But that's why I need to find the answer for my family, for my brother and my sister.
There are many definitions for a missing person, but the police definition is, and I quote, anyone whose whereabouts cannot be established will be considered as missing until located and their well-being or otherwise confirmed, end quote, according to the College of Policing. Missing People is a UK charity dedicated to reconnecting missing people and their loved ones and providing support to families and friends. Missing People in the UK has been working hard to establish the whereabouts of Andrew Capon, but as of today, he is still missing. Andrew Capon has not been seen since he disappeared on October the 2nd, 1998, in the UK's seaside town of Skegness. Tessa, his daughter, has never given up hope that she will one day be reunited with her father and continues to appeal for any information concerning his disappearance. She was just 15 years old when he disappeared that night. His daughter lives in Peterborough with her partner and their 4 children. She says he was funny and loved fishing and football and going out with his friends. We used to go on holiday to the caravan site all the time, and he'd always be messing around. My heart tells me that he's dead, but I don't want to believe that. But even if he is, there is still a body out there. Andrew worked for British Steel Distribution. He married his wife Sue in 1982. He was a father to 2 daughters, Tessa and Kimberly, and a son, Adam. At the time he disappeared, the children were aged just 11, 13 and 15. He was funny and friendly, and he was a lover of animals. Carp fishing was one of his main hobbies. Tessa said, I quote, we used to go fishing a lot. He also had a lot of friends he used to play football with. We had a good relationship. And his wife said, he was a good father to the kids. The Capon family spent many holidays at their caravan at the Waterside Leisure Park in Ingoldmells. At the time of his disappearance, he and his family lived in Castle Bytham. So on the day that Andrew went missing, he dropped his daughter Tessa off in the morning at a bus stop in South Witham so she could go to school. I quote, he dropped me off at the bus stop and he said he loved me, which was unusual for him to say. Obviously, that was the last time I saw him. After that, I never went back to my house. I never went back to the village, I left my friends. I left everything I love. I never went back there again. Andrew Capon hasn't been seen since having a night out with friends. According to his daughter Tessa, he had a night out in Skegness with 3 friends after work, and they stayed in their caravan overnight. He was intending to come back to Grantham the following day. Andy and his friends went out to Skegness that night drinking. There was an argument inside the nightclub between Andy and a friend. CCTV then shows Andy being heavily handled by 4 bouncers and thrown out of the nightclub into the street at the far end of North Parade. There was an altercation then between Dad and a friend. Andy is then seen heading towards the clock tower, where he was last seen on CCTV footage crossing the road at Scarborough Avenue opposite Skegness Pier. CCTV also shows the friend Andy had the altercation with chasing after him and catching up with him at Scarborough Avenue. A little while later, that friend was seen on CCTV at a cash machine. But nothing of Andy after Scarborough Avenue. Police searched the sea and waterways and lakes at our caravan site and the ones in Skegness. Sniffer dogs were also brought in, but nothing has ever come to light about what happened that night. After their night out, the other 2 lads smashed the window to get back into the caravan, and they left the next day, bringing Andy's belongings to his mother. When the workman went in to fix the window, he found Andy's wallet in the caravan. But nobody can be sure he left it before they went out that night or not. Had he returned to the caravan? Inside the nightclub that night, known as the Streets Complex nightclub, Andrew and one friend got into an argument inside the club, and Andrew and the others were later thrown out of there. CCTV footage outside the club then showed Andrew pushing his friend outside, and they both stumbled onto the curb. Andy and one friend walked away, and the friend is shown to stop at that cash point, but Andrew carried on walking. CCTV later showed Andrew leaving the corner of Scarborough Avenue, and this was the last time he was ever seen. Therefore, the last time he was seen was on CCTV at 1 a.m. on October the 3rd. Also, in October 1998, just 2.5 weeks after Andrew went missing, a woman named Lynn Bryant was stabbed to death while walking her dog near her home on the remote Roseland in Cornwall, UK. Her killer has never been caught, and police are sure someone has vital information to help solve this case. There is a 6-hour drive between the areas where Lynn Bryant was murdered and where Andrew went missing, so these are not expected to be connected in any way. Skegness is a seaside town on the east coast of England and is thought of as the most dangerous small town in Lincolnshire, according to crime statistics. According to Lincolnshire police statistics, in September 2023, 441 crimes were reported there, most of which were violence and sexual offences crimes. Others were antisocial behaviour and shoplifting. Did Andrew therefore succumb to an act of violence towards him after his night out drinking? That night in October would have been windy and cold. Did he succumb to the elements after becoming lost, maybe? Did he suffer an injury and couldn't find his way back to the caravan? Was a serial killer on the loose that night? Or did he want to become lost? Did he walk away from his life? Notably, since his disappearance, the friends that Andrew went to Skegness with have not been in contact with Tessa or her family, according to Tessa. Do they have relevant information? Are they hiding something? The family even contacted a clairvoyant, Julie Petrolengro, and the clairvoyant told the family that Andrew is in a caravan hideaway. She said he was in the countryside somewhere, at something or somewhere called green pastures or green fields. But the search was fruitless, and there was more disappointment when the family studied a Central News videotape. And that's because when they were watching TV one day, they thought they caught a glimpse of Andrew, but unfortunately it was not him. Fingers have pointed at the three men ever since Andrew vanished, and they understand that because they were the last people to see him. One of the friends, Mr. Duthie, said, and I quote, "People think we know where he is, but we don't. If we knew, we would tell somebody. We don't know, and that's genuine." End quote. I believe the most likely scenario is that after his night of drinking and following a scuffle with a friend, he decided to walk back to the caravan. But being October, winter time, it would have been very cold and probably windy, and at 1 a.m. it would have also been very dark. Did he get lost on the way back to the caravan? Did he try to find shelter under a tree or a hedge, or something of that nature? And did he succumb to the elements and not been found due to being hidden away? Andrew CAPON was just 37 years old at the time of his disappearance. May we never forget the strange and mysterious disappearance of Andrew CAPON. If you have information pertaining to his whereabouts, please call the police on their non-emergency number 101.